Okay, so we're going to go through the answers. It's going to probably take maybe 15 minutes or so. So just skip through the ones you want to have a look at. Okay, so the first one is just a straightforward function. That you got 3x there, so the derivative is 3. So it's just going to be minus 6. Sorry, minus 6e to the 3x. Next one here. Okay, tan squared x is the same as tan x all squared. So you just use the chain rule. Multiply by the power. Subtract 1 from the power, and then multiply by the derivative of the bracket. So the answer is just 2 tan x sec squared x. Okay. Next one. Okay. So this is the constant. So when you derive it, it disappears. So you only have to derive that, and so you just multiply by the 2e to the power of x to the power of 1. Just subtract 1 from the power. Next one is a product rule. So u is x squared, so u dash is 2x. Ex is ex, so we've got to do the cross product. So we've got x squared ex plus 2x ex, and then factorize. Common term is x ex, x plus 2. If you didn't factorize fully, you lose part marks. Okay, next one is a quotient rule. U is the top line, v is the bottom line, so u dash equals e to the x minus 1, v dash is just 1, so we go v u dash minus u minus u v dash, so it's just minus that, over v squared, and then to expand the brackets out, so you got x e x minus x plus e x minus 1 minus e x plus x over x plus 1 squared, and then x, that cancels out, so you're left with e x minus 1 over x plus 1 squared. Okay, next one, change the square root to a fraction. Then just multiply by the power, leave the bracket, subtract 1 from the power, multiply by the derivative of the bracket, so multiply by 2, so you got multiply by 8, e 2x, and then a half of 8 is 4, e to the 2x, and then that's a negative, so bring it to the bottom. Okay, moving on. Okay, next one, u is sine x, u dash is cos x. That's cos squared x, which is the same as cos x all squared. So it's 2 cos x multiplied by the derivative of the bracket, which is minus sine x. So you got minus 2 cos x sine x. So y dash is the product. So we've got sine x multiplied by minus 2 cos x sine x plus cos x times cos x squared. So we've got minus 2 cos x sine squared x plus cos cubed x. Strictly speaking, I think I gave that 4 marks, but it could factorize. I think 2 cos x minus 2 sine squared x plus cos squared x. Now this next one up here, change colour so you can see it. So multiply by the power, leave the bracket, subtract 1 from the power, and then multiply by the derivative of the bracket. Pi on 2 is a number, so that changes to 0. So cos turns into minus sine, and then you multiply by 2, so it's going to be minus 2 sine 2x. And then we've got minus 2 and plus 2, so that's minus 4 sine 2x multiplied by cos 2x minus pi on 2 to the power of 1. Okay. Next question, show that the tangent passes through the origin. So the derivative, you need to find the gradient of the tangent, so it's going to be e to the x minus 2. So at x equals 1, you got e minus 2, just substituting in. We need to find the y value, so you got e to the 1 minus 2 times 1, which is also e to the minus 2. So then just sub it in. So we got e minus 2 equals m sorry, m, which is e minus 2, sorry, times 1 plus b. So I've got e minus 2 equals e to the minus 2 plus b. So that's the same as that. So b equals 0. Therefore, tangent passes through the origin. Because b equals 0. Okay. Next one. So first thing you do is just do your derivatives. So you got 10e to the 2x and 20e to the 2x. So there's your first derivative and second derivative. So that's the right hand side, which we have to prove that the left hand side equals. Okay, so y double dash is 20e to the 2x plus 3 times 10e to the 2x minus 10 5e to the 2x equals 20 plus 30 minus 50 equals 0 equals right hand side QED. Okay, moving on. Okay, so next one. Okay, so find the derivative. So you got minus 3 cos 3x. Sorry, minus 3 sine, beg your pardon. And then multiply again, so you get minus 9 cos 3x. You got those answers. So then we've got minus 3 cos 3 times pi on 9, which is minus 3 cos pi on 3, which is minus 3 times root 3 on 2, which is just minus 3 root 3 on 2. Next one, minus 9 cos 3 times pi on 3, which is minus 9 cos pi. You can use your calculator. Cos of pi is minus 1, so the answer is just 9. Okay, show that the tangent is parallel to another tangent. So 5e to the x, the derivative is 5e to the x. So at x equals 5, you have 5e to the 5. Next one, y equals e to the 5x, so the derivative is 5e to the 5x. At x equals 1, you have 5e to the 5. Gradients are same. Therefore, the tangents are parallel. That's all you have to do. Next one. Okay, this one was a little bit harder. Equation of a normal. So cos turns into minus sine. The derivative of the bracket is pi. So we end up with minus pi sine pi x. The derivative of minus 1 is 0, so it just disappears. So at x equals 1, we've got minus pi sine pi times 1. And that equals 0 because sine of pi is 0 on your calculator. Now this is where people blew it. The equation, the gradient of the tangent is 0, so the gradient of the normal is undefined, 1 over 0, which means that you've got a vertical line. This means you've got a horizontal line. This means you've got a vertical line. Okay, so the answer is, the equation of the tangent is x equals 1. Okay, next one. Again, a bit of extension. So we've got the gradient equals 4, not x equals 4, which some people did. So we've got 4 sec squared x on 2, and then we times it by the derivative of that, which is a half. So it's got 2 sec squared x on 2. Now if you want to make that look a bit normal, so we've got 2 cos squared x on 2. Now that is where your 4 comes in. If we get something on the bottom, these guys can just switch positions. So we've got cos squared x on 2 equals 2 over 4. So cos squared x on 2 equals a half. Change colours, just go up here. So to get the square, you square root. So cos x on 2 equals plus or minus the square root of a half, which is plus or minus 1 on root 2. And that's an exact value, so that means that x on 2 is pi on 4 or 3 pi on 4, and so x double everything. So there's your x values, and then you had to find your y values. So y for the first one, for x equals pi on 2, y equals 4 tan pi on 4, which is 4 times 1, which is 4, and for x equals 3 pi on 2, y equals 4 tan 3 pi on 4, sorry, 3 pi on 4, beg your pardon. That's going to be 3 pi on 4, so that's 3 pi on 2, yes, and that's 2, and then it becomes 4, which is 4 times minus 1, which is minus 4. Okay, moving on. Okay, so this next one, concentration. So at x equals 2, just have to put 2 in there, 2 in there. Use your calculator, and you get 0.3. That's in that one. Next one is a direct product rule. So we've got 2 and minus e to the minus t. So then we've got to use the product rule. So we've got minus 2t e to the minus t plus 2 e to the minus t. Factorize 2e minus t minus t, sorry, plus 1. So at max x dash equals 0. That can never equal 0, so that gives you your 0. So t equals 1. What's the unit in hours? So we've got 1 hour. Okay, so we've done the time, and then we've got to do the concentration. So at t equals 1, x equals 2 times 1 e to the minus 1, and that equals 0.74. Okay, moving on. Okay, next question. Had to split the ladder up into 2 parts. So we had one distance to there, which is this triangle. Okay, so sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse, and then just switch the positions. So it's 2 over sine theta. This next triangle up here, cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and then just switch positions. And then the length is d1 plus d2, so you got 2 sine theta plus 2 cos theta, and that's all you had to do, QED. Okay, so the next part, these are fractions, so you need to bring them up to the top with minus 1s. So we've got minus 2 cos theta, subtract 1 from the power, and then multiply by the derivative of the bracket, which will be minus sine theta, plus, okay, minus 1 times 2 is minus 2, subtract 1 from the power, multiply by the derivative of the bracket, and then just tidy it up. So we've got minus times the minus is a plus, so we've got 2 sine theta over cos theta squared, or cos squared theta, doesn't matter. And then minus 2 cos theta over sine theta squared, or sine squared theta, it doesn't matter. Okay, so these are fractions. So you need a common denominator. Common denominator will be both those numbers. So let's turn it into that. And so we end up with a cross multiply that way and that way. And so 2 sine theta times sine squared theta will be 2 sine cubed theta, and minus 2 cos cubed theta, and that's QED. Okay, and then the last part, you have to get an answer for that one. So at max or min, whatever, 2 sine cubed theta minus 2 cos cubed theta over cos squared sine squared equals 0. So that cross multiplies to 0. So I end up with 2 sine cubed minus 2 cos cubed equals 0. So cross off the 2's, they're both the same. So sine cubed equals cos cubed. And as I said, divide, you need to have sine over cos. So divide both sides by cos. So then we have tan cubed theta equals 1. Tan theta equals the cube root of 1, which is 1. And so theta is going to be pi on 4. And then the length is 2 over sine pi on 4 plus 2 over cos pi on 4, which is 2 over 1 over root 2 plus 2 over 1 over root 2, which will be 2 root 2 over 1 plus 2 root 2 over 1, which is 4 root 2. So here, when dividing by 1 on root 2, we multiply by root 2 on 1. And that's the QED. Okay, so calculus turning points, blah, blah, blah. So 3x squared minus 6x minus 9. So then we have 3 bracket x squared minus 2x minus 3. So 3, I didn't need that line there. X minus 3, x plus 1. So x equals 3 and minus 1. So at x equals 3, x equals minus 1, just using my notes. X equals 3, you get minus 17 and 15. Okay, y double dash is 6x minus 6. At x equals 3, y double dash is a positive number, so it's a min TP. At x equals minus 1 is less than 0, so it's a max TP. Point of inflection, y double dash equals 6x minus 6, so 6x minus 6 equals 0, 6x equals 6, x equals 1. At x equals 1, y was equal to minus 1. Then do a table of values for y double dash to prove there's a sign change. 1, 0, 2, 0, and it was negative to positive, so there's a POI. The y-intercept was 10 from the equation, and then y's, x's, and then just had to have something perhaps that looked something like that. He didn't know where, but that value was 10. You knew the turning point, you knew the POI, you knew the turning point, join the dots. Okay. Next one. So the rate of change, what's the rate of change? So that means you need a derivative. Okay, so at the moment, and the moment being thrown, t equals 0. So h dash equals 5 minus 2t. So at t equals 0, h dash equals 5. So that's the rate of change. The average rate of change between those times, need to find the distance thrown. So at h equals 0, t equals 2. At h equals 2, t equals 8, I think, from my notes. And so it's just going to be 8 minus 2 over 2 minus 0. So it's 3 meters per second. And next one. So h dash we just did before. So 5 minus 2t. 0 equals 5 minus 2t. 2t equals 5. T equals 2.5 seconds. And then h equals 8.25 meters when you sub it in. Prove it's a maximum, so h double dash equals -2, therefore it's a max TP. So the maximum height at 2.5 seconds, 8.25 meters. Okay, moving on. Alright, so this next one, just need to look for the pattern. So one tree is 363, each tree drops dead, and so it's going to be 362, 361, 360. And the pattern, to get these numbers here, the pattern is 364 minus n. Okay, not 363 minus the number of trees, it's 364 minus the number of trees. So in the first one, so that's the yield, and then we have 2 trees per hectare. We have 5 hectares times 362, and that equaled 3,620 kilograms. This one here was the next answer. That's the yield per tree. So we have 4 trees per hectare times 360, and that gave me 7,200 kilograms. So that's part A and part B. So in part C, the production will be 300. So it'll be go back a sec. It'll be n trees times 5 hectares times 364 minus n, and then when you multiply that out, you get 1820 n minus 5n squared, which is QED. And in the last part, which some people went straight to, at max, p dash equals 0, p dash equals 1820 minus 10n, 0 equals 1820 minus 10n, 1820 equals 10n, n equals 182. P double dash was minus 10, therefore it's a max production. And did we answer the question, what's the number of trees? We need 182 trees times 5 equals 910 trees, all up. Okay, next one. Okay, we're at the last one, which is the hardest one. Most people didn't really get far. Okay, so the radius is going to be y on 2. Now the perimeter is 11 meters, so that's going to be x plus y plus the semicircle, which is a half, times 2 times pi times the radius. So 11 equals 2x plus y. The 2's cancel out, so we've got pi y on 2. So 11 minus 2x equals y bracket 1 plus pi on 2. Now actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply through. I'm going to change that. To go to the fraction, we'll just multiply through. So 22 equals 4x plus 2y plus pi y, just get rid of the fraction. So 22 minus 4x equals y bracket 2 plus pi, and so y equals 22 minus 4x over 2 plus pi. And that's a 2x, sorry, that's 2x there. So that makes 2x, 2x, 4x, 8x, 8x, 8x. And now it looks better. Okay, next one, area of the rectangle. So the area is 2x times y plus a half pi r squared. So 2xy plus 2 squared is 4 times 2, so we're going to 8 pi y squared. And then we know what y is. So 2x 22 minus 8x over 2 plus pi plus 1/8 pi 22 minus 8x over 2 plus pi all squared. I'll change colours so you can just see what's happening. Okay, so the lowest, so I'll just multiply through, sorry. Change my page. Get my answers ready again. Alright, so we got multiply this out, so we get 44x minus 16x squared over 2 plus pi plus we got pi on 8 multiplied by, so expand that out, perfect square, you get 484 minus 352 x plus 64x squared over 2 plus pi all squared. Now I'm not going to expand that out because I can see that I can use that for the common denominator. So the lowest common denominator will be 8 times 2 plus y all squared. So this number up here has to be multiplied by 8 and another 2 plus pi. So 8, 2 plus pi, pi plus 2, whatever, 44x minus 16x squared plus pi times that, 325, oh 352, sorry, beg your pardon, 352, beg your pardon. Now, just remind you, like a plus b squared was a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now, when you expand all that out, so when you expand all this out and expand all that out, you end up with minus 16. I'm saving. There's another line there. Now, I only gave this 2 marks, but there's a lot of maths in this one. And then 8 doesn't go into all those numbers, but 4 does. So that's actually, sorry, beg your pardon, that's a mistake there. Sorry, guys. So that's actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub that out. That's, sorry, I'll just take that one back. So I'm going to go back and just put it in. So minus 64 pi x squared plus 704 x minus 256 x squared plus 484 pi over 8, 2 plus pi squared, and then divide through by 4, so you get minus 16 pi x squared plus 176 x minus 64 x squared plus 121 pi over 2 plus pi squared, and that's what you need in the denominator. You needed that one, and so it's just a matter of factorising now. So you get minus 16x squared pi plus 4 plus 176x plus 121 pi over, and that's your QED. Okay, next page. So dA dx, so I'll just take back, so we've got A equals minus 16x squared pi plus 4 plus 176x plus 121 pi over 2 pi plus 2 squared. So dA dx, so derivative of that is minus 32x times pi plus 4. The derivative of 176x is just 176. The derivative of 121 pi is nothing because it's a constant. And that's it. Oh, then you can divide through by 2. So you get minus 16x pi plus 4 plus 88 over pi plus 2 squared, and that's your QED. So then we make that equal to 0 for the next part. So 0 equals that. And then cross multiply. So we've got 16x pi plus 4 plus 88 equals 0. Sorry, minus. So 16x pi plus 4 equals 88. X equals 88 over 16 pi plus 4. And then that cancels down. Divide through by 8. Which is your QED. And then once you got x, then you can find y, because y was 22 minus 8x over pi plus 2. So 22 minus 8, lots of 11, over pi plus 2 equals 22 minus 88. Actually, we'll get rid of 2 in 8 because 4, so we'll make that a bit smaller. So minus 44 over pi plus 4 over pi plus 2. Yep. Change colours. Okay, so this needs to have a pi plus 4, so it's going to be 22 pi plus 4 minus 44, and then it'll be over pi plus 4 pi plus 2, because that'll come down to the bottom once it's a common denominator. So you've got 22 pi plus 88 minus 44 over that, and then those go together, so I've got 22 pi plus 44 pi plus 4 pi plus 2, and then equals 22 pi plus 2 over pi plus 4 pi plus 2, cancel, 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 22 over pi plus 4, QED, and then the final part, the area, is just sub those numbers in. Area equals 2xy plus pi y squared on 8, and you just have to put those numbers in and just work your way through. There's a few steps there. So once you had x and once you had y, okay, you're finished. Okay. Thanks, that was a long one. Good luck.